So this week, we're going to go over, welcome to week 6, and this week we're going to go over the 3 things you need to do for week 6. So for week 6, you need to do the week 6 forum, where you talk about how you revise your paper, what mistakes did you find, what kind of feedback did you get from week 5, and which revision technique do you like the best. Do you like the scissors technique? Do you like so I'll go over all of the different techniques. So when you revise a paper for week 6, you have something called reverse outlining. In reverse outlining, you look at what you write and you make sure that you have a correct essay structure. So you take a look to make sure that you have one central idea for your entire paper. You make sure that your thesis statement is the last sentence of the first paragraph and the first sentence of the last paragraph. And you make sure that your thesis statement matches your topic sentence matches your thesis statement, so that you have essay coherence and essay unity. So that's reverse outlining. Scissors technique means that you look at your paragraphs and you make sure that each paragraph has 5 to 7 sentences. And then you can also cut up your paper, and then you can align the different cut-ups of your paragraphs to make sure that they all make sense. So that's known as the scissors technique. Then you have zoom way out. So when you use zoom way out, that means that you go to Microsoft Word, and instead of looking at one page at a time, you look at your pages two pages at a time, and then you could see, if you make sure that you have good essay structure, you make sure that each paragraph has 5 to 7 sentences. And you do that by zooming way out in your Microsoft Word. Next one is print and read it aloud. That means that you print out your paper and then you read it out loud to hear if you've made any mistakes. Highlight sentences by length. So here you highlight the different types of sentences that you have. That way you could tell if you have too many simple sentences, too many complex sentences, or too many compound sentences. And also you can see if each paragraph is 5 to 7 sentences each. Then that's it for all of the revision. All of the revision techniques help you with your essay structure. Next, for your editing and proofreading, you have to make sure that after you make sure that your essay structure is good, then there are 2 kinds of editing and proofreading. Glossing. Glossing is when you read your paper backwards, and then you listen to the paper as you read it backwards to see if there are any mistakes. Then the next one is specific focus. Specific focus is when you correct your errors one at a time. So for instance, I will correct all my comma usage. Then I would go for subject-verb agreement and that sort of thing. And so you do it one at a time. Instead of looking through the entire paper, trying to go for all of your grammar at once. And then another way in which you can correct your paper is using ChatGPT. You can say, give me in the prompt, give me essay feedback on grammar errors, punctuation errors, sentence variety, essay structure, and tone. Then you cut and paste your essay into ChatGPT, press the button, and just like in week 5, you will get a long list of mistakes. ChatGPT will then tell you what mistakes you made in your paper. And this kind of essay feedback, not just for your English class, it can also be for your other classes like a psychology paper, that sort of thing. So in the week 6 forum, tell me what kind of revision and editing and proofreading technique you like to use. I, for one, like to use reverse outlining because that way I look at my paper and I'm able to tell if my paper has a good essay structure. I also like to use specific focus because I like to check for one grammar error at a time. And then you can also ask ChatGPT after you would say, what grammar errors, what 4 most common grammar errors do I make? And that way, if you just want to focus on just 1 or 2 or 3, then you could do it that way as well. If you find that 20 different grammar errors is too much, then focus on the 3. You ask it, what are my 3 most frequent grammar errors? And then you cut and paste your paper, and then you focus on learning those 3 or 4 and mastering that 4 at a time. So that's what I tell students. Also, in your other classes, if you're using ChatGPT, I had a student who used ChatGPT and asked it was a psychology class, what is a character interval theory? And she had no idea what that meant. So she asked ChatGPT, and then ChatGPT gave an explanation in English. She said, I still didn't understand what that meant because the English that ChatGPT gave me was still too hard for me to understand. So she was asking other people on the newsfeed, this is my other school, what does character or something interval theory mean? And then I posted and said, you have to tell ChatGPT, explain to me this, whatever it is, topic, character, in simple English that a second grader can understand. You have to put that in your output in order for ChatGPT to understand what level of English, because ChatGPT does not know your level of English. It will automatically assume that you are smart, okay? So therefore, if you don't know something, you have to tell it to go down in English. Please give it to me in easy to understand English. You can also tell it, I'm a nurse, and therefore can you relate how this psychological theory is going to relate to my job? You can even talk about what your job is. So that way, ChatGPT can then contextualize it in such a way that you would understand it. Do you understand? So you don't just simply stick it in and tell it to explain something. You have to actually tell it what level of English you have. So make it simple that a 5-year-old would understand. Make it simple as a high school student would understand. So that's really important. And then you could say give analogies, give metaphors, give similes. And this cuts across to everything that you're studying, not just this class, okay? So that's one major usage of ChatGPT that you can use. But you have to remember the second part with the as simple as a second grader. That's key. Okay, and then for next week, you're going to write so after we finish week 6, we're going to finish our narrative essay. So the narrative essay is to write a story that has a moral. Okay, and what life lesson will we learn by reading your essay? So that's it for essay 1. Now next week we're going to be doing essay 2. Essay 2 is called comparison contrast essay. And in a comparison contrast essay, you're going to compare 2 things. You're going to say something is better than something else because. Coca-Cola is better tasting than Pepsi because. Oranges taste sweeter than apples, or oranges are more nutritious than apples because. And then in the week 7 forum, they're going to give you a list of topics. Hot weather versus cold weather. Which one do you like better? So in your thesis statement, you would write hot weather is better than cold weather because. Reason 1, reason 2, reason 3. Then paragraph 2 will be reason 1. Paragraph 3 will be reason 2. Paragraph 4 will be reason 3. And then paragraph 5 will be the conclusion. And so basically, you're just going to be comparing 2 similar things. You can either use the topics listed in the forum, or you can come up with your own topic. Like COVID-19 is worse than the flu. COVID-19 is different than the flu. Climate change has made weather hotter than it was 20 years ago. In 1960, the hottest it would get in the summer would be 75 degrees, but now it gets to 105 due to climate change. So you get to choose, and if you choose a really difficult topic, then you can use an explanatory thesis statement. An explanatory thesis statement means you explain why something is different. So you would tell me, well, in 1960, everything was 75 degrees. But now in 2024, everything's 105 degrees. So you describe the differences and you compare and contrast the differences. If you have a simple topic, then you have to use a evaluatory thesis statement. That means you tell me which one is better than the other. Do you understand what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So if you have hot weather is better than cold weather, you don't go around and say hot weather is when you have hot temperatures like 85 degrees, and in the winter time, everybody knows what hot weather is. Everybody knows what cold weather is. You only use an explanatory thesis statement is only if you're using such a topic that's so complicated, you have to explain it to people what it is. Not everybody knows the difference between COVID-19 and the flu. Not everybody knows the difference between RSV, that's respiratory, respiratory virus versus, so if it's something that people are not well versed in, then you use the explanatory thesis statement. And if it's something everybody knows, like childhood versus adulthood, everyone knows what a childhood is. Everybody knows what it is to be an adult because everyone's been a child and now everyone's an adult. So we don't go around just explaining. Instead, we tell the person which one is better. We focus on our preferences when we do an evaluative thesis statement for your comparison contrast essay. And then there are two ways in which you can write so basically I would like students, if you choose an easy topic, tell me which one is better. And if you choose a hard topic, explain to me what they are and just do the comparison contrast. So that's the difference. And you'll understand that as I go through it. I think I have my other videos. If you look up, I think week 7 instructor session in my video, I go through it with notes and everything like that. And then what else? Oh, so 2 ways in which to do your comparison contrast essay. You can either do the block method or the alternate method. The block method, if I say something like Los Angeles is a better place to live than New York, then the block method, you write about Los Angeles first, then you write about New York. Okay, so I would say Los Angeles food, people, restaurants are better than New York's food, people, and restaurants. So then if you use the block method in Los Angeles, you would write food, restaurant, and people. Then you have New York, food, people, and restaurants. So that would be the block method, which would have four paragraphs. And then the alternate method is the 5-paragraph essay structure that you've been using all along, similar to I want to become a nurse because reason 1, reason 2, reason 3, and then paragraph 2 is reason 1, paragraph 3 is reason 2, paragraph 4 is, so you get to choose which one you want to use, whether you want to use the alternate method or you want to use the, what was the other one, block method. So you have 2 different kinds of thesis statements to choose from, explanatory versus evaluative, and then you have 2 different ways of writing the comparison contrast essay, which is the block method versus the alternate method. And that pretty much sums up your writing. And then I'll go over persuasive essay, I think, in a couple of weeks, because that's the only other kind of essay. You'll take a break. So basically what it is for the rest of this class is that week 7 and 8, 11, and week 7, week 8, week 11, and week 12, you're going to work on essay 2. And then weeks 9 and 10, you're going to work on the persuasive essay and APA. So that's all you have to remember. 7, 8, 11, 12 is all going to be comparative contrast essay. Did you get all that, Star?
Yes.
I timed out to 15 minutes. So so next week you do have another test, I think, off the top. I can't remember that part. So if you have any questions about your writing, feel free to email me at any time, and also I will show you my notes. And also don't forget to watch my 3-minute comparison contrast, what is a comparison contrast essay video, which is listed in your announcements. So that way, if you need to see the text of what I just said, you can do that. So if you have any questions, feel free to email me at any time. And if you like this video, don't forget to subscribe to the Professor H Writing channel. And so I will now log off and say, have a great week 6.